Okay, back with you again. Okay, this is the original video that I was planning on doing today, and it's one I've been kind of thinking about and looking at for a couple of weeks now. But there's just always so much else going on. We learned this morning. I wake up, I'm ready to do this video, and I find out that Trump has tweeted out about the wiretapping. So that video will be up as well. But the other issue I want to talk about is one that requires a little bit more thought for all of us. Uh, and a reality that I think we're all going to have to face. And this is it. Of course, we know that Trump signed General Mattis with the task of putting together a plan in 30 days to take out ISIS and Al Qaeda. Well, that 30 days is come and gone, and I believe that they have the plan. I believe that they're probably going to start implementing some things. I don't know how much of it they'll tell us about, which is fine. We don't need to know. It's military operations, and I do believe Trump is correct that we shouldn't be out advertising what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, where we're going to do it, how we're going to do it. So, I mean, I think you let the military, when you have a war, you do like we did in World War II. You turn it over to the generals and you say, run the damn war. That's what you do. That's how you win. These guys are the experts. They know what they're doing. When you have to go back, like we did in Korea or in Vietnam, and you have to check with the president, and he has to check with his political advisor, and he has to check with this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy. By the time you check with everybody to see if you should approve a military operation, the target window has elapsed. The targets are no longer there. The operation doesn't matter. You have to be able to, when military officers get this information on the ground, I know from being in the military, you get this information, these things are constantly, they're static, they're constantly moving, they're constantly happening. And when your military commander gets some information, some intel, they need to act on it. They need to move quick. They don't have 3 or 4 or 5 days for a political administration to sit around and meet and talk about it and weigh the political gains and all this. You turn the damn war over to your generals and you let them general. They'll win the war for you if you stay off their back. Okay, so that's just one thing. But here's the issue that I really want to talk about. We say that we want to eliminate ISIS and Al Qaeda. Yes, we do. Here's the problem. You can kill those terrorists on the ground, wherever they may be, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Somalia, wherever they may be. They're in Europe, they're supplanted in various countries around the world. You can root these guys out and you can be killing them, but you're not going to eliminate an Al Qaeda or ISIS unless you get to the root of that problem and rip them out by the roots. And here's the problem: the root of the problem is Saudi Arabia, an ally, a friend, and the stabilizing force of oil in the Middle East. They control OPEC. We have arrangements with the Saudis. So we have this relationship with the Saudis. And apparently, we have never had any administration since we've been working with the Saudis, have never had an administration for some reason that's able to sit down with the Saudi king and say, look, the way you run your country, I mean, the way that you treat women, the way that you do this, the way that you do that, we want you to change those things. See, you really can't say that to Saudi Arabia because they rule the kingdom, the Saudi family, the House of Saud. They have a lot of opposition. Our government's concerned that what the Saudis will tell them is, yeah, but if we do all that, you could see our regime be taken out, and you don't know what you'll get to replace it. Maybe they won't cooperate with you. Maybe they won't do this. Maybe it will upset the apple cart. Maybe it will create a lot of problems. Maybe it will cause interruptions in oil. Maybe it will cause crises in the region. All these things that could happen. It could upset the system that we have. So this is the problem. And here is what you have to understand, that the Al-Qaeda and ISIS are essentially Sunni. They are essentially Sunni Muslims, as are the Saudi Arabians. And the radical Islamic fundamentalist theory is a Wahhabist idea. The Saudis are Wahhabist. They are the single most powerful force for promoting Wahhabism. They fund the madrasas, which are the schools where they teach radical Islam all over the world, especially in the larger Arab world, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Syria. You name the Middle Eastern country, and including in European countries, we have madrasas here in states. They're in Europe. They're everywhere. So you have a serious problem. You say on one hand you want to take out ISIS and Al Qaeda, but in order to do that, you must get to the root of the problem, and the root of the problem is the Wahhabi radical religion, and the home base for that is Saudi Arabia. You see the problem? So I think that yes, we can go over and be more effective at killing these guys, but we'll never stop killing them because they'll continue to be reproduced. We can kill 100 of them today, but there's 10,000 madrasas that are recruiting and training and sending out tens of thousands more to replace the ones we just killed. They'll never go away. It's a never-ending cycle. We kill them, they create more of them. It's a terrorist. It's a factory for creating terrorists. That's what they manufacture, terrorists, under this Sunni Wahhabist ideology, with its home base in Saudi Arabia. So therein lies the problem. What do you do about that? Is it possible that Trump could sit down with the Saudi king and say that he wants them to have major reforms? I just don't think we have that kind of leverage with the Saudis. And clearly, because of the amount of money they have and the amount of influence that they hold a lot of stock in a lot of the major media companies here. They, of course, have bought off every politician that's of any importance in Washington. They are involved directly in business dealings with American oil companies, with large American corporations of every stripe. They are so interwoven into our system and into all the Western systems that you really can't go to them and order them or lean on them to change anything about their situation, their Wahhabist approach to governing. That's what they have. It's a Sharia law country, which we say we don't want. We don't want here. We don't want it in Europe. We don't want to see it spread. But yet we are connected, interwoven with the largest provocateur of this particular radical Islamic religion. You see the problem? That is the problem. And that is why when we talk about getting rid of ISIS, getting rid of Al Qaeda, you can't do that unless you address the situation with the Saudis and get them to give up radical Islamic behavior, and have them give up Wahhabism, have them stop funding these madrasas, have them stop promoting this radical religion. And how are you going to do that? Who's got the power? I don't think the President of the United States, I don't think Trump has that kind of power. I mean, he has certainly the power to sit there in the chair and look at the Saudi king and say, we'd like you to do this or this or this. But he's not going to do it. And he can go over the president's head, because there are people, the establishment is far more powerful than any single man occupying the Oval Office. We can see what type of problems that they can create, what the establishment can create with a president who goes against the grain. So this is the problem we face. I mean, it's, we all know about it. We've all been talking about it for years, how powerful the establishment is, the New World Order, whatever you want to call it. But Trump has really forced them to come out of the shadows and to reveal themselves more than ever before. And we are now seeing in action exactly how powerful they are, and how they have this system set up in such a way that it's nearly impossible, if not totally impossible, to break it down without breaking the whole world into a million pieces. And so this is a problem when Donald Trump talks about ISIS, getting rid of ISIS and Al Qaeda. I fully support that 100%. I'm sure everyone else does as well, unless you're a Wahhabist or a terrorist. But you cannot accomplish that unless you can get reform in Saudi Arabia, because they are the home base, they are the manufacturer of Wahhabist ideology, the promoter of Wahhabist ideology, and the purveyor of it as well. So this is where that issue is. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen. I don't think there's much that can be done there. We've got a hell of a mess on our hands, and it can eventually, I think, be dealt with, but you would need probably 20 or 30 years of Trump-like administrations with an anti-globalist, anti-establishment, pro-nationalist type leader. You would have to have that in multiple powerful countries such as the UK, other Germany, and places like that. The type of effort and the length of time it's going to take to drain this swamp and to roll back this powerful establishment that's been building itself for over 100 years. It's a big mess, and it's just be nice if Trump would be in a position he could fix these things in short order. But as we can see, every single inch of real estate that we need to occupy to get back to a sane American foreign policy and a sane country, to get back to where we need to be, it's we got to fight so hard just to get 1 inch. We need miles. We got miles to go. We got to fight for every inch. The Republicans, they can't even deal with Obamacare. They've sent up repeal bills 4 or 5 times, knowing good and well that they would not be signed. And here we are. They've had 7-8 years where they've been opposed to Obamacare. President Trump makes it his top priority to repeal Obamacare. So now he's in office 4 months, and the Congress is still dilly-dallying around, fighting over a bill to replace Obamacare with. And they have 5 or 6 different bills. They are doing exactly what the Democrats did, and it looks like, from what Rand Paul is telling us, that a lot of the things that are in this repeal bill, a replace bill, are very similar to Obamacare itself. Just some different wording, but the same thing, which tells you that they were probably on board with it the whole time, and the whole thing was a big charade. That's all it was. My. Well, that's our situation, folks. We just have to keep fighting. It's going to be a long, long fight. Some of us will never see this fight. Even if we win, we won't be alive to see it. It's not going to happen that quickly. But, it's the fight. It's where we are. So, hang in there, stay positive, and support the president all we can. We'll see how these events are playing out, and we'll see which way the world moves. Alrighty, y'all. Bye.